Hello, friends, and welcome to Talking with Famous People. I've got some good news and I got some bad news. What do you want first? Do you want the bad news first, or do you want the good news first? I tell you what, before I share either piece of news with you, why don't I pull a bong rip? That sounds like a good idea. I think I should. I think you agree with me on this one. Before I share with you either the good or the bad news, I'm going to pull this bong rip. That's fair. That's only fair. Okay, now, in order to pull this bong rip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it in the bowl here, like so. Let's see. And to make sure it's extra wonderful, hi Jim B, long time no see. How you doing? How's your ISFP hood treating you? You loving those moist feelings? You loving those incredibly moist feelings that you have? I'm putting a little bit of concentrate right there, just to make sure it's extra, yeah. Now, I'm going to put this bowl right here. And this is before I share with you either the good or the bad news, which I will be sharing pretty soon. Don't you worry. Okay, so right now, Jim B is enjoying his moisture. He's an ISFP, and he's feeling a lot of feelings right now. He's feeling happy, he's feeling sad, both feelings. Me, I'm also feeling happy and sad, both feelings. Why? Because I've got some good news and I got some bad news. But before I tell you either, it's a good idea, Isaiah Root. That's a really good idea. I might have to graduate from bong rips to wrong rips as well. My question is, why does the Chinese man say his R's as B's and his B's as R's? Okay, so I've built a little bit of suspense, but I don't think I built quite enough suspense yet. What is the good news? What is the bad news? Please tell us, Eric. I'm building suspense right now, so you have to wait a second. I am a professional suspense builder. I have built a lot of suspense over the years. I know what I'm doing. So, while we're waiting for the exciting answer regarding the good and bad news, I've got another question for you. What's the real reason peacocks spread out their peacock feathers? Oh, he's very confused, Chinese man. Okay, that makes sense then. Yeah, it does. The real reason peacocks spread out their feathers is to hump the peacock girls, peahens. That's why, because peahens are really turned on by big feathers. So when a peacock spreads his feathers apart, he's trying to hump a lady peacock, or also known as a peahen. I'm a deeply closeted gay man. Wow, that is a deep closet. Let me tell you. That I just woke up too, Isaiah Root and Engant here. That is so fun. We're like triplets. We're school day triplets. We're all wearing the same clothes, or we all woke up at the same time. One of the two. Yeah, I used to think, Jeebus, that life would be easier as a gay man. Be a lot easier because I used to think chicks are just like so confusing, you know? I don't know what the reasoning is behind that, Jeebus, but your vociferous objections just drive home the point that people suspected anyway. It was not my suspicion. I never suspected that. So I can't explain to you why other people think that. You might be, but I did. That was not. You successfully fooled me if you are. Well, I was up earlier today, and I went and took a nap, and then I woke up again around like 11 something, or 10 something actually. All right, let's get down to it. Let's get down to it. I'm tired of waiting now. I'm tired of the building suspense. Which do you want to hear first? The good news or the bad news? So I've got both. I've got good news and I've got bad news. Which do you want to hear first? The bad news is not surprising. I gotta tell you, I was not surprised by it. Which kind of news would that be, Jeebus? I don't know if that'd be good or bad news. I can't tell. Anyway, are you sure that's not the bad news, Angantier? Okay, bad news first. So, of course, I get a text from the pharmacy today. Does it say, come pick up your prescription? It's ready like it should? No. What does it say? Same bullshit it always tries to pull. What bullshit is that? We don't have any. We have to order it. It'll be a couple of days. It's like, Peow, CVS, Peow. I get it from you every month. Why do you have to order it every single month? Why don't you just pre-order it knowing I'm going to get it? What's up with that? That's the bad news. I should be getting my pills today. Am I going to get them? I don't want to go to another pharmacy. Yes, I could call CVS and have them call around and try to find another CVS that has it in stock and I go get it there. Fuck that. I don't want to do that. That's a hassle and pain in the ass. I want them to just do a good job and have my drugs ready for me when I want them. You know, is that too much to ask for? Got to order it every month. Come the fuck on. You know, that's the bad news. It's for not having speed. I get prescribed speed for not having speed. So it's like periodically I run out of speed, and the doctor prescribes me speed for it. Which I then take and get thwacked out. You know. Yeah, I'm too slow. They said. You mean to take amphetamines? You're going too slow, Eric. We need you to take these amphetamines. I said, you know what? You're right, doctor. You are right. I'm not being a baby. I'm being a complainer, Jeebus. I'm being a complainer. There's a big difference between being a complainer and being a baby. Not all complainers are babies. Most complainers are, but when I complain, boy, that's different. No, Jeebus, no. You take that back. I am not being a baby. I got the same thing in reverse, Isaiah Rude. I got the same thing in reverse, except it's my daughter. But the problem is, I already finished all of hers. So, you know, I finished hers a long time ago. So, you know, I know if I were a true junkie, I would go to another store, but I'm not a true junkie, Jeebus. I'm a speed loving non junkie. I don't need it that badly, you know. It's not like I have to go rush out and go get speed right this second, you know. I'm not a drug addict. I'm just a drug enthusiast. You know, I'm maybe a weed addict, I may be a cigarette addict, but I'm not a speed addict. I am a fake junkie. I'm a fake junkie. It's true. I'm just gonna wait for the CVS to get it instead of going to a different CVS. You know, there's a lot of CVSs around here. I don't like to have to run around. I don't like to drive, especially like by the time they get it all going, it's going to be getting near rush hour, and there's a lot of traffic around here, and people do not drive well here. And I don't mean to be racist at all, but it is because there's a shit ton of Chinese people around here, and that's why they don't drive well. I don't know what to tell you about it. It's just true. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's true. Your absolute worst drivers in history are your suburban Chinese women. They're terrible. That's not true. Walgreens always has it. Delilah gets hers from Walgreens, and they often have to order it for her too. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous, I say. Can you tell that I'm slightly frustrated? I am slightly frustrated. I wouldn't say I'm much more than that, but it's like, huh. That's not surprising. No, Jeebus, I left you at 5 in the morning because I woke up at 5 in the morning. I went to bed at like 9 o'clock last night. That's why. I didn't stay up all night. If I stayed up all night, you'd be able to tell. You'd be able to see it all over my, like, I get these, like, I kind of have dark circles a little bit right now, but I don't even know why. I haven't had any speed in weeks. I ran out of speed a couple days before Rachel left back for New York. So it's been a while, you know. Hi, Rachel Apolosa. Did you hear the bad news? Did you hear what the bad news is? The pharmacy has to order my speed again. Supposed to get it today. No, we don't have any of it. We have to order it. Why didn't you fucking order it yesterday when you sent me a text that said you can't pick it up today because it's too early? You know, why not order it then, CVS? Huh? You're going to make me cross my arms at you. I am crossing them. You see this? Does this look like a happy man? Do I look happy? Who thinks I look happy? Terrible. Terrible news. All right, let's get to the good news. Let's get to the good news. Let's get to the good news. Fine. I'm pretty sure I sort of won my dispute against Dollar Rent a Car. Okay? I am pretty sure. I'm glad that video helped you. I'm being that good. I'm pretty sure that I won part of my challenge against Dollar Rent a Car. Because I went to the ATM this morning, there's like $400 more in there than I expected. Maybe, but see, the thing is, it could be, I could have gotten a little bit of a payment from Google, maybe $100. But it doesn't explain this. So they must have given me a partial win, is my guess. That's my best guess. Now, they did warn me that they might temporarily put the funds back, but it's not enough funds in there for them to temporarily put them back. They would have temporarily put them all back. So I think I must have won half of like part of it. I think I was right that they double charged me the $350. And they shouldn't have done that, you know, obviously. So I got like, you know, more money in my account than I expected today. When I went down to just see just to see how much money I had, you know. I just went to the ATM to just check to see how much money I had, and that was cool. That's pretty good news, you know. I'm pretty sure it's not just there temporarily. It's not the point, Jeebus. Why do you always got to be like that anyway? Okay. The point is, they took more money from me than they're supposed to have taken from me, and that's not okay. I know, Jeebus. You want to get yourself timed out again. God, go be jealous somewhere else, Jeebus. Well, you know, the thing is, Jeebus, when I first saw the charge, I didn't know what it was at all. I had no idea what it was. I was like, "Where's this $700 charge coming from?" So I immediately called the bank to dispute it. And it was only then that I learned it was the dollar rent a card thing. Jeebus, are you the new cloud or something? You just want to shit on me at every possible opportunity, or what? Is that your goal here? Because, you know, that's kind of tiresome. It's not just tiresome for me either. It's tiresome for other people here. If somebody comes in and just tried to shit on me constantly. Um, it's just boring, basically. I don't. Okay. All right, Jeebus. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to be watching your behavior like a hawk, young man. See this eye? I've got this eye on your pie, and I've got this eye on your side, guy. I was not bragging about being lazy. I was responding to you accusing me of being retired. I'm not retired, I'm lazy. It doesn't mean I'm lazy for other purposes, just in contrast to retired. Okay? So, gah. I don't think it's a great thing to be lazy or anything. I spent a lot of my life being productive. I've been kind of like obsessed. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Ask your question about TE. I've been kind of obsessed with productivity my whole life. Like I never felt like I was okay unless I was making something, producing something. Um, this is a liberated time of my life in the sense that I feel okay being lazy now, and that's a major progress for me. You know, it's not that I'm bragging about being lazy; it's that I'm owning it. You know, I'm owning the reality that for right now, uh, I am critiquable on that ground. And there will always be someone out there like Jeebus who wants to critique me on it. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not remotely, even slightly embarrassed about it. Not because I'm proud of being lazy, but because I'm fine with who I am. You know, I am not affirming laziness as a virtue. I am just okay with who I am. And that's it. Ampinic, you might scare people off because you're too narcissistic and arrogant. Well, yeah, maybe try being less narcissistic and arrogant then. I'm going to go ahead and prescribe that for you as a solution. You described it as having a consult the expert bias, right? You say T.E. Polar leads to not generally trusting experts until they prove themselves just on personal grounds. Right. Well, T.E. Polar leads specifically to trusting your own experience over experts. So, especially if it's SI. I mean, SI with T.E. Polar. NI with T.E. Polar plays a little different. It believes in universals that are sourced to no expert at all. Like NITE Polar is archetypal, universalist, and they don't care about experts because they're talking about the ideas themselves, and they just don't care about linking it to any individual at all. TE Polar with SI is skeptical of experts because they have so much faith in their own personal knowledge. You know, like my dad, he has faith in experts, like the doctor thing, when it's an NI question. When he has a way he does it, he has faith in that way. You know, this company is the best company because it's the company I've done business with for a long time now. It's a weird kind of. Now he's not TE Polar, obviously. He's TE dominant, but with SI he still has this weird kind of TE blind spot, which is, yeah, but Dad, no, you're not really getting special treatment from Hertz because you're a gold member. You know, it's like you're paying extra for these things probably, and all you're telling them is you can milk the fuck out of me, but you know, it's like who buys into those, like, become a VIP member of this company now? Who buys into that shit? ESTJs buy into that shit. My dad buys into that shit all the time. Well, I'm a Premier Club member though. Well, but Dad, that's just like that's just bullshit for people who buy that shit. You know, it doesn't mean anything. You're not getting any FE points actually or whatever. It's just a status that they assign you, and it doesn't mean anything. But you know, that's still his TE, his problem solving by his SI frame, namely his own experience. And he likes to deal with people he's dealt with before. He likes the fact that he goes to the same bank he's always gone to and the same whatever. And they know me down there. They know me down there is a common thing you'll hear from my dad about why this place is a good place. They know me down there. Thanks, Rachel. I love you, my precious angel. So does antipolar kind of lead to not being able to connect the dots and figure things out before the event happens? Right. Antipolar means they can't figure out when there's a determinant factor and what that determinant factor is. My dad is waiting for the CalPERS long-term care insurance paperwork to clear so that the long-term care insurance will cover most of the costs of my mom's care. Now, this paperwork thing is taking some time, and he's had to call a couple of times and prompt him a couple of times, and yada, yada, yada. So he's considering a contingency plan where he gets a mortgage on the house to pay for an extra few years of mom's care, plus this upcoming couple of years, if the paperwork doesn't go through. But of course it's going to go through. He paid into this long-term care insurance for decades. Now he actually needs to use it. They have to pay for it. He's paid in God knows how much money into this fucking thing. And he's making contingency plans in case the insurance company doesn't pay for the totally legitimate long-term care insurance that my mom's getting. Long-term care my mom's getting. A making a contingency plan he doesn't need to make, because even if somehow the insurance didn't pay for any of this, he has other means of paying for it and doesn't need to mortgage the house to pay for it. Yeah, I've watched Breaking Bad. Is Skyler an ESFJ? That would make sense because, you know, she's pretty anti-polar about everything. It's just ridiculous. He makes all kinds of weird contingency plans for things that never ever conceivably gonna happen. It's just for systems he doesn't understand, like tech systems, the anti-polar becomes really glaring. Like, but that's not even possible. So anyway, and his reasoning for this whole big contingency plan is that if he were to do that, he wouldn't have to pay any taxes on the money that he gets from the mortgage. What? He's not paying. What? I don't understand the logic there at all, frankly. But there's got to be some sort of weird logic. The weird thing is, a lot of times he'll say shit to me that sounds absolutely fucking nuts, and then it turns out to be exactly what needed to happen too. So that happens too, you know. My dad has he got a letter from the insurance agents, the farmers insurance agents, his long time farmers insurance agents, whom he has given so much money to, and never wants to make any claim because his insurance rates will go up. That's anti-polar. That is anti-polar right there. You pay a bunch of money to insurance to make sure if something bad happens, you're covered. But if something bad happens, don't make a claim on insurance because your rates will go up. That's anti-polar, okay? That's anti-polar. I gotta smoke a cigarette. Peter, what are you doing back here? You know you're not supposed to be back here, Mr. Peter. Great. The peacock's in the backyard. But see, that's the sort of thing that if I say it, it doesn't matter. If Ron says it, then it matters. Ron is my dad's financial planner guy. If Ron says the same thing I say, then we go with it for sure. But if I say it, doesn't matter. The thing is, you know why we know the insurance is going to pay for it? It's CalPERS, for God's sakes. It's the California State Professional Retirement System, It's their long-term insurance plan. It's the fucking state of California. They're gonna pay for it. And boy, let me tell you, did my dad successfully milk the state of California for everything it's worth. He got these, he set up his retirement packages with the state of California such that both my parents get a little bit less of their pension, but they both get both their pensions for as long as either of them should live. So for as long as my dad's alive, he gets my mom's pension and his pension. This is the monthly thing that's coming in, right? He is so strange in regards to those sort of things. You know, it's like he's brilliant and thinking ahead and just about certain specific things. It's weird. Yeah, there's a peacock outside. He's got some beautiful feathers right now. I gotta tell you guys, the season is, yeah, like super smart long term, kind of idiot short term. It's weird. Those are the murders. Those are the ninjas you really have to watch out for. They're the ones who are wearing white ninja outfits because they're called day ninjas. So the thing is, I feel sorry for your grandpa too, Brian. So it's the season of the time when peacocks spread their feathers wide, which prompts the question, oh yeah, I've had to fight off a few day ninjas myself. Daywalkers, they're sometimes called. Daywalker ninjas. Instead of being silent like the night ninjas, they, as they move about, they make the sounds of the city. It's like as you watch a day ninja walk, they kind of like blend into the light, and emitting from there just sort of like sounds like honking and cars driving by and stuff like that. It makes them blend in. I had a dream about my dead cat. I petted her. It was so real. I forgot I was dreaming. I woke up. You miss her so much. That's so sad, Ghost Rider. I've had dreams about Lacey before too. Boy, talk about Eeyoreing up the place. We got Ryan and Ghost Rider teaming up to Eeyore the fuck out of this place right now. Hey, you guys, stop Eeyoreing, okay? Interesting. Had a huge yard with bird, including peacock. Yeah, we have a peacock. But it's not our peacock or anything. There's peacocks all around this neighborhood. They run around here. But we have this one peacock named Pete, and it's easy to distinguish him from the other one because he has this one feather that pokes out sideways from his side. Like all of the other feathers are normal, but he's got this one weird feather. Pete is hanging out here because I feed him back here sometimes. I'm not supposed to feed him back here, okay? Because Dad doesn't like him back here because he poops on the patio. And we can't have that. Oh, those are albino peacocks. And reasonable people know better than you that costs in the long run, but they don't know the short game. Is a lyric that reminds me of what you're talking about. It sounds right, exactly like what I was saying. That's interesting. Who wrote that lyric, I wonder? Yeah, we love our babies. I love my Pee-Pee. She's not in here at the moment, but she was sorry outside a second ago. She sure is a good kitty. She makes me feel kiddiness in my heart. My dad's trying to train Pete to catch crackers. And if you'd like to see a video of my dad, a 30-second long video of my dad trying to train Pete to catch crackers, I will share it with you now from my Google Photos. Here it is, 26 seconds long, and you will get to see the exciting world of my dad.
Oh, so close.
Trying to
you hit him right in the head.
Trying to
my
train
training the peacock to catch.
Pete to catch oyster crackers.
Oh, so close, Pete. So close.
Well, I'm encouraging Peter to do a better job. We do love the animal friends. Rachel and I are Pee-Pee's mommy and daddy. Rachel has attained the title of mommy for the cat. So, you know she's my full blast wife. It was very sad. Makes me think of a long limp salami. I don't know why I have such a phallic response to that. I'm not sure. It's like, that's sad, you know, like a salami you're trying to hold up and it just, limps down. Yeah, we'll live together pretty soon. Pretty soon. Like maybe Thursday, Friday, next week, I don't know. We'll live together forever in the sky, on a cloud. We're going to float from city to city on the top of the cloud. We're going to get a big, long ladder. And we're going to climb down from the cloud and visit people, like in St. Louis. So people start to think that we always show up when it's raining. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen, to be honest. My dad's made a number of sort of intimations that he wouldn't mind Rachel back here, or that he wouldn't mind me and Rachel living in the master bedroom, so to speak, and having the back house, sort of splitting our time between the back house and the master bedroom. God damn it, Ghost Rider. That's what I say about Lacey. She's the best pet anybody ever had. She was the best. Slept with her every night. Rachel, you see you have a counter offer on the table. If I'm dragging my feet too much, you can move in with Jeebus. Well, you know, the thing is, this is the thing to remember, and people don't necessarily get this who are younger. My dad is 83 years old now, and this is a transition time of his life, you know. He came back from the doctor today. He's going to get an ultrasound on his prostate tomorrow. You know, he's preparing for an end that he doesn't know when it's going to happen, right? Like, he doesn't know if it's going to be 10 years. He doesn't know if it's going to be 1 year. And he's trying to TE this shit. So it's like, he knows he wants his family nearby him. He knows he doesn't want me to move to New York, for example. And I don't really want to move to New York. I have decided, frankly. And Rachel's indicated that she's okay with moving west. I need to be here for him, more or less, at least for for the foreseeable future. You know, there's a lot more wiggle room than that than when my mom was here, obviously. But he seems to be settled into the notion that mom is in her final location. I could have told him that sort of when he first initiated this process, but that's NI, and you know he has to experience everything in order to meow it. The latter, I think. Yeah, yes, I carry a lot of weight with me due to what's going on with my parents for me, but bipolar makes it never quite fully hit me, or very rarely. You know, when I'll burst into tears, I'll have a moment, and then it'll pass, and I'll sort of forget what was all behind all that. It's heavy. I generally, I mean, my attention is generally elsewhere, is what it boils down to. My attention is generally elsewhere. Like, I've got this sort of sense that my dad's here, and he'd probably like to have a longer conversation with me than he did briefly this morning. And I'll probably go in there and sit down and chat with him in a little while, you know, in a while. I don't know when I feel like it. So my FI is more of an FE kind of an FI, I guess, which is make sure I do enough by my understanding of what enough is rather than do as much as he needs, which would be more of an FI thing, I guess. Jeebus, I don't know why anybody would want to endure that torture with you. It'll be torture for both of you, as I explained. You know, I am romantic shit hits you hard, demonstrative FI. Rachel, what are your thoughts on that? Does romantic shit hit you harder than other kind of emotional stuff? Like, you know, I know Rachel lost a grandparent that she was very close to, I think, if I remember correctly. Rachel, if I don't, correct me. But do you find that romantic stuff hits harder than loss for you in some sense? Or I don't know what other kind of stuff are you talking about besides death and love? There's more to life than love and death, Ryan Harrison, okay? There's also taxes. Six of one, half dozen the other. Either way, doesn't matter. You're high and you haven't slept. You haven't slept. Well, you know what I am? I thought I had a little bit more weed than I did, and stupidly proceeded forward on the assumption that I did have more weed than I do have. And now guess what? I've got a second piece of bad news. For those of you who weren't here for the origins of this live stream, I got a piece of bad news and good news, okay? Bad news is they have to order my prescription at the pharmacy. Bad news number two, I am almost officially out of weed that I want to smoke. Sure, I've got a bunch of these pre-rolled joints around here, but they're kind of shitty. They make me cough. I don't like it. Who wants to smoke that? It's like the pain and love I feel for romance and death can feel the same. Now see, this is a conversation I would like to witness. It would be Rachel talking to Ryan about this, because Rachel had that experience. And note, it works that way with SI too. You have multiple bad relationships. It doesn't turn into a rule, but you know in advance that everyone's gonna shit on you. You know, Rachel, do you feel as though we've loved each other out of our bad knowings? That's how I would say it. Bring out your FE. Oh yeah, dog. Bring it out. Bring it out and dip it in the pond. Why are INFJ and INTJ so different with similar functions? Because they don't have similar functions. They've got each other's tools polar. That's like hardcore humanity, man. There's a big difference. It's a big difference in Little China. They just look the same on the surface, a little bit, you know? Just like ENFP and ENTP look the same on the surface a little bit. But we're not actually the same at all. We're like massively, 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 massively different. Okay? Does everybody understand? Do you need me to repeat that? Okay. Massively, 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 massively different. Don't forget that. Ever. Ever. In a billion years. Don't ever forget that. How massively different we are. You know I'm acting goofy? Me? Would you say I'm acting goofy? No. I'm not acting goofy. This is serious. God, you guys. Everybody wants to shit on me today. Me? Goofy? I'm not goofy. I'm serious. I'm so serious that you can't even begin to out-serious me. If you were to take a serious class that offered a doctorate in seriousness and successfully complete the entire coursework required and get your PhD in seriousness, you still couldn't be as serious as me, Nangantir. Not in a million, billion, trillion years. That's how serious I am. I'm so serious that if Siri had an us after it, she'd be me. From my mid-20s to my early 30s, my dating life had been so disappointing that I started to build up an expectancy of getting disappointed or being mismatched. And I think it's fair to say that Rachel brought that expectancy into this relationship. And I brought some expectancies into this relationship as well. It more went like every time I appeared to fit into one of her rules, she assumed the rule was predominant and the relationship was doomed. Whereas every time she'd hit on one of my SI triggers, which wasn't linked to a rule exactly, it was just like, if the person does this, that means they're not willing to work with me or something, which is different than like Rachel, when she had doubts about our relationship or stuff, she expressed them as NI things. Like, you're worried, aren't you, Eric, that the mirage relationship aspect of this is going to break us apart? Just like, no, not even remotely. It never even crosses my mind. That's NI shit, right? I'm worried that when she does meow, it means she's just like Kimberly. That's how I worry about shit, you know? That's SI. That's the difference. I don't care about this mirage, whatever. It's like I don't buy ideas like that exactly. I ignore NI in some sense. Do you go through awkward fluctuations with FE when you're down and feel you aren't good enough? Rachel has her off moments. I think it would be, even though I know that Rachel is a knapsack full of nothing but pure perfection, I'm going to have to, in the name of honesty, admit she does have an occasional, pretty rare, but occasional off moment where she wants to flip everybody off and like vandalize shit and stuff. you know. He has her off moments. It's fine. We all have our off moments. We all do. Hers are a little more dramatic than some. That's fine. Doesn't bother me. I can live with a little bit of drama. I can be dramatic too. I've been known to be a little dramatic. Well, this is the thing. I don't see Rachel's potential. I see her realized value already. That's the difference. INFJs do not want someone to see their potential. Because to tell an INFJ you see their potential means you're tasking them with being or doing something than what they already are. That's a bad idea. They're already doing things the way they do things. And I like the way they do things. Maybe not everybody does, but I like it a lot. And so yeah, you're tasking them with SE. People don't like to be pushed on their fourth slot function, you know? Fourth and eighth, they don't like to be pushed there. So it's like, love an INFJ for who they are. Don't love them for their potential. Love them for their realized self as it is right now. Because INFJs don't understand themselves as really in progress in the same way that an NTP does. As an NI Dom, INFJs see themselves as an archetype mostly, like meow, 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 and that's it, like pa pa, NI, and here lands the complete NI. I don't. I see Rachel being self-critical. She doesn't voice it at all. Of course, that might be FE tool, but I see her being self-critical about about her behavior with me when we're being super gaff. I see her as actually sometimes being like mad at herself for being that gaff, but I want her to know that I personally appreciate her gaffery and that she can gaff all the gaff she has within her upon me, and I will always lap it up. So I will lap it enthusiastically. What does third slot NI look like other than stubbornness? It looks like an occasional good idea. Like Sarah ISFP. I don't even remember exactly which one it was. There's a couple of good ideas said in a row in this section. And one of them was Sarah ISFP. She said like, your next live stream, you should title it. You might just be an intuitive if Jeff Foxworthy style. I think that was hers, and it's a great idea. It's a great idea for a title for a live stream. It's a great idea for a topic for a live stream. It's a great NI Piao, The thing to remember about third slot is no. Look, Annie would be going like, yeah, and what we could do is combine it with I'm an NI seeker, which means I'm consciously, willfully trying to find NI. But NHPs in general have a lot of trouble with this. Sure, no problem, Ryan Harrison. You don't forget to rock and roll today, okay? I want you to do both. I am gaff about Rachel, and Rachel's gaff about me. You know that song? I'm so gaff about Rachel, Rachel's gaff about me. What is that song? What's the actual song I'm thinking about there? Thanks, Brian. I love you in all the right ways, too. See, that's such great FE, right? It's better FE than no homo. I think that's much better FE. I love you in all the right ways. That's great FE. It's tender and and humorous, and it also conveys a little bit of no homo. So, but it makes it a little ambiguous too. You're not sure. Maybe there's a little homo in there. Not quite sure. That's what makes it. This makes it juicy and funny. I love long time. Well, that's different, Ingentir. No, I don't want to be loved a long time from you. I like our loving to be short and sweet. Okay. Thanks. This is the elephant pipe that I got from Rachel, but its leg broke off. Oh, you can't see in that angle. See, it's a three-legged elephant now. Wah, 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 wah. Its leg broke off. Its butthole is the carb. See? Its butthole is the carb. It won't stand up anymore, but it's still a fine pipe. Works fine in terms of smoking, in terms of the act of smoking. I really like this pipe design with the butthole being the carb and the nose being the smoke rum part. I don't know what you call that part. This is called the carb, but what's this called? The pull the smoke out of it part, you know? I don't know what that part's called. I don't think it has a name. Here comes Dad. Come on in, Dad.
I got a proposition for you.
Okay, what's that? I mean,
I don't want to mess with it, but I do want to get out of the,
storage.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll give you
So, my dad wants me to take everything out of storage and close out the storage unit. So, that's what I'm going to do. In general, I don't know what my dad's going to talk about. He doesn't seem to get the whole idea, really, of live streaming. So, just in case he's going to talk about some sort of private financial matter or something like that, I muted it if I think to do so in time. You know, 'cause he just comes right in and starts, rah, 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 rah. You know, it's like, I don't even know how we're going to mute the thing. So anyway, that's why the sound went off for a little while. He never put what together? The stem. Yeah, the stem, Hambone. I think Hambone is the right has the right answer for that. No, we're not gonna let him do that. Fortunately, at this point, I think it wouldn't do you much good because he's on such lifelock shit. You know, he's got everything locked down now after the identity theft attempt. You got a new vacuum cleaner? How fun! I love vacuum cleaners. I love vacuum cleaners. They remind me of technology. Yeah, these people were ooh, they successfully hijacked his phone first. Well, and first they hijacked his. It was a nightmare. I don't even want to go over. It's too much TE. But they had it was a mess. We fixed it. We saved it. Me and Delilah did. You know, we rolled in here and saved the day. So we were on duty saving the day like 24 hours a day for like 3 or 4 days, and then 8-hour days at least for a while after that. It was a big job fixing that shit. It's a big job. It's a nightmare. But I was very happy that Delilah and I were able to both. I needed Delilah's help too. She was, well, we're a couple of action types. When circumstances call for action, we're ready to act, So that's good. And it's sort of, I think it was good for the family in a way because my dad didn't really lose anything at all. They did successfully get a total of like $3,000 worth of like Apple laptop, maybe just one Apple laptop or something. I'm not sure, but that's all they got out of the whole thing. They got nothing else, and so I was pleased that because they put in just as much work as we did. It got delivered to an address in Los Angeles. But yeah, that's all they got out of it. Yeah, they had like remote access to my dad's computer. So they got a lot of shit. But didn't do it in very good ultimately. And they put in just as much hours as we did, and we got nothing from it. And they did they did end up hardening our security. by happenstance, so that's a good thing. It was pretty tough to get anything now. Coach Trader, we don't need to be quite that vengeful. I don't think. So anyway, yeah, I don't believe in the death penalty either. Having the death penalty guarantees some people will be wrongfully put to death. And rule of law shouldn't create injustices rule of law can't fix. But just because there are instances where maybe we all agree that certain people should be put to death doesn't mean we should affirm the death penalty. Because affirming the death penalty comes with more than just the consequences we want. You see what I'm saying? We don't get to affirm just the death penalties we like. We get to affirm it as an institution or not. And that's the problem the people who are in favor of the death penalty have. Their best argument is in some instances, it's just to kill people. Like in some instances, a murderer is bad enough that they deserve to die. But the problem with that idea is that even if it's true, it doesn't justify the death penalty as an institution. Because that's the thing. When you make rule of law responsible for death, then you create circumstances in which procedurally somebody can be put to death even if it's the wrong instance. Well, look, in an ideal world, maybe we would have a death penalty that only put to death an incredibly select few people who otherwise deserve it, who actually deserve it. But I don't think anybody can advocate a system whereby that occurs, because the choice of whether or not to put people to death is made by a system that's pretty wobbly. You know? You've got to delegate that decision-making power in some way to someone or some system or some protocol, usually a judiciary and blah, 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 blah. Even in America, where you've got a jury where it has to convict 12 people, a jury of your peers have to convict you beyond a reasonable doubt that you're guilty, and have to agree that the death penalty is the appropriate penalty, you still get people who are wrongfully put on death row and wrongfully executed not because there's something wrong with the idea of the jury system and jury trials, but because the system is skewed in favor of the prosecutors too much. They have all the resources, especially if the person who's on trial is using a public defender. So that's the problem in America with the death penalty. It's not the juries. It's not the. I mean, sometimes it's the juries, but it's generally not the juries, and it's generally not the. Okay, well, Desert INTJ, I have to say this about that notion. That's the same thing as the death penalty. If you knowingly put them someplace where they're at high likelihood of dying as a punishment, as a way of washing your hands of responsibility for it, you are playing some intellectual smoke and mirrors with your morality, I would say. You know, the thing is, I don't know what to do with people like that. I'm not advocating any alternative. I'm just saying I don't see how one can successfully have the death penalty without ultimately creating too much injustice to justify it. That's my position on it. Dahmer got killed in prison? Did he? I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you. Batman. I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you. I'm Batman. Yeah, but will you save me if I ask you politely? Then do you have to save me? But I did ask politely. If I appeal to your humanity, do you have to save me? If I'm not being a dick, do you have to save me? We should change the reasons for people becoming this way. We look at the wrong end. Well, I mean, you don't have to look at either end exclusively. I think people do look at both ends. I think people do try to make an effort to change society's ways such that they produce fewer psychopaths, sociopaths, wrongdoers, whatever. I think, it's like we're going through that growing pains right now as a world, basically. So it's like, why did I get a warning for bullying C.S. Joseph? Because this is the world going through the growing pains of that very issue right now. It's like, on the one hand, we're saying we've got to stop pushing people to craziness. And, like, let's say C.S. Joseph went crazy and started shooting up the place or whatever. Well, people might go, "Why you pushed him to it, Eric?" I would point out, I'm responding to him. It's like he is putting out a bunch of information out into the public, and I'm responding to it. I'm saying he's full of shit, right? But I mean, I get also the fact that society has become, in general, less tolerant, and probably it's for the good of what one could only call abusive discourse. I don't know if any of you were around watching YouTube when this guy Sargon of Akkad, Sargon of Akkad. He used to be, or Akkad or whatever. He used to be a YouTuber, and he made his hay basically by finding dumb leftist pseudo intellectuals spouting bullshit, and then he'd show a clip of them and their bullshit, and then he'd just basically spew abuse at them. You stupid, right? That was basically his gig. He specialized in spewing abuse at feminists who were saying feminist nonsense. But the reality is this. We live in a society now that says there's just not any good justification for that kind of abusive discourse. And it's the same kind of abusive discourse I used when I made this very angry video about C.S. Joseph. And so I accept that the time for that kind of abusive discourse is past. And there's just not really room for it anymore. And so I'm shifting accordingly. This is one of the beautiful things about being extroverted and intuitive and an FI polar person, right? Oh, I smell change on the wind. I'm not going to fight it, I'm not going to go and sort of be all free speechy. The reality is society has evolved such that it no longer tolerates or wants to tolerate or celebrate that kind of abusive discourse. And I think that's a good thing, frankly. I used to be guilty of it. I'm not trying not to be anymore. I sometimes still get mad and meow, 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 meow at people. You're meow, 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 meow. But I can avoid name calling. It's like I should never really engage in it in the first place. It was just self-indulgence, So rather than fight reality, I tend to look at it, reframe it. Well, maybe they're right, actually. Maybe I shouldn't talk like that. Okay, that actually works better as a narrative. It's a lot more consistent with a lot of other things I'm saying, There's no reason for that kind of discourse. And I was guilty of it, and so they mad me. Now, the other thing, though, the hate speech thing is bullshit because there's a clear distinction between satire or holding up hate speech as an object of analysis or holding up hate speech as an object of ridicule versus actual hate speech. It is a fuzzy line to draw, you know? But that's why hate speech is a lot trickier of a thing to try to get into than like name calling and abusive discourse, because it's pretty easy to tell the difference between abusive discourse and non-abusive discourse. It's pretty difficult. I don't apologize to the guy. I don't feel bad for C.S. Joseph at all. I feel correctly corrected in my speech. You know? Well, it's not going to find its way into law because the Supreme Court's not going to let that happen. Hopefully. Hopefully. So, I mean, it's been pretty clear. It's the one area of rights that the Supreme Court has set a lot of good precedent on. It's going to be pretty tough to buck that much good precedent. What do you mean, what did you do? What do you mean? Oh, you're talking about Ham. I see what Jeebus is saying. Dark Phoenix, I'm so sorry you wrote that sentence. I know, because English is not your first language. That sentence makes you sound dumb, because what you mean to say is he doesn't want me to expose his intelligence. He don't want to dispose his intelligence. Yeah. That's an unfortunate one. I know we all do that occasionally. And then we have the shame shivers. Yeah, expose is the word you're looking for there. Expose. Hallelujah. 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 Oh, hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, halle, 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 hallelujah. That song's called Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah by Eric Strauss and the Gregorian Priests. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I have some prunes inside the box, coming for to carry me home. I have some prunes inside the box, coming for to carry me home. It wouldn't be so direct. More having to do with being forced to sell goods to people you don't want to sell goods to. Oh yeah, that could happen a little bit. That's already happened all over the place. I mean, like, you know, it's definitely illegal, for example, for you to be a racist. Like, let's say I want to say, look, I'm a professional racist. And I want to open my business selling all these racist goods. And I would like there to be nobody except Native Americans allowed in my store. Now, this is gotta be a strange store. it sells exclusively white power stuff, but only allows Native Americans to shop there. Okay. So if you wanted to open such a store, it would definitely be illegal. Even though, in my mind, that should be legal. If I would like to open up, let's say I open up a store that only sells Native American power stuff and only allows African American people into the store. So I can never go into the store myself unless I'm one of those two races, which I am periodically, but not all the time. You know, it would be illegal for me to open that store. Now, I could say I wonder if it would be legal to say I only allow in transracial people. Would that be legal? Probably not. It would be discriminating on race. But I could say, well, look, all you have to do to be transracial is assert your transracialness. So, same thing with any other race. So, it just basically says you have to say this word to come in here. That would be an interesting court case, right? Say I open a business and I put up a sign that says only transracial people allowed, and wait to get sued. And the only thing that the only thing that's different than any other store except is that when you come in, I go, "Are you transracial?" And if you say yes, I go, "Oh, hey, come on in. Hey, welcome." If you say no, then I say, "Get out of here, you! Get out of here! We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. Any of you non-transracial people are not allowed in here." I wonder what the courts would do with that. My point is that race is completely arbitrary anyway. So if I were to open a store that was limited to a certain race going there, all they'd have to do is say I'm that race, and then they'd be allowed in, right? I'm going to expose some people, but there's a soccer club in town, and only people from his Italian soccer team and mafia homeboys can go in. Of course, I always wanted to go in. Well, I hope you never did go in, because that sounds like a rapey environment. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I will too expose my nipples, Angantyr. I am exposing them. You just can't see them. You do get a little bit of upper chest, though. Are you enjoying the upper chest? It's near my nipples. I guarantee you, though, I am exposing them right now. They're fully exposed. I am saving them for Rachel. But you are getting a little free upper chest. You can see my deformity here. This is my deformity. Right here. You see it's kind of like a bump. I call it my deformity. My deformity? Yeah, it's hard. Hard. You can kind of hear it. There. There. I wonder if they could rewrite some government license contract to require your business to be indiscriminate in to whom you sell. Yeah, I'm saving those nips for Rachel, but I am letting everybody get a piece of this hot upper chest action. If you just arrived at the live stream and you're wondering why I got my shirt up like this, I'm giving you some hot upper chest action without any nips. I'm teasing you. Teasing. And I got the door open. It's quite pleasant. I think it's 80 degrees today. It's a little warm. A little warm. Not too bad. You guys keep waiting for my nipples to show up on screen, don't you? You're like, I bet they're going to show up any second. It's like, I kind of want to see them. It's like, come on, Eric. Yeah, is somebody offering me a Mardi Gras beads? I can see them actually. I just have to look down. I don't have to. Oh shit! It was just a little bit of the left one there. You got my bad, YouTube. I wonder if male nipples are allowed on YouTube or not. I was trying to get it right up close without actually showing anything. Right there. That's about as close as I can get. Right there. Right there. That's the closest I can get. Isn't it funny the way it's like, if you make it so that people can't see something, they want to see it. It doesn't matter what it is, You saw the outskirts of my nip. It's like I said in Hawaii when Rachel and I were at this volcano house. They had the part that I had stayed in fenced off. You couldn't go there during construction there. I just had to look over the fence. I want to know what I can't see. What am I not supposed to see back there? I want to see it. Could just be like a pile of poo or something. I'd be like, finally, thank God I saw it. He's trying to make it so I can't see that thing. I have to go see it right now. I don't care what it is. Rachel, you go look at those later. It's like, she'll be like, yeah, I know what those look like. those little pink round things there. I'd be able to deny a whole group your business, but not if you had a meow license, which would require the business owner to not discriminate. Oh, I see. That's tricky. Yeah, I could see them doing that shit. I could see them doing something. You know what? I don't know if that would work. I don't know if that would fly or not. I don't know if that would fly. Okay, you guys, look. The second piece of bad news today that I share with you is starting to overwhelm me a little bit. I am out of. This is a problem. This is a problem that I need to go solve. So, there's nothing any of us can do about that. These are sad times, hard moments. It's a difficult moment for us all. It's a time when we're going to have to part. And as you well know, parting rhymes with much meat marrow. Namely, it is such sweet sorrow. But I bet you we'll see each other again soon. I bet you we'll see each other again pretty soon. Maybe even later today. Probably. Given that it seems to be like my most common activity that I do, probably. What happened? Dark Phoenix is terrible news. I have run out of good weed that I want to smoke. So I gotta go. I gotta go to the weed store. Goodbye, everybody. And Rachel, I'm going to chat with you briefly on the old Google Hangouts before I go to the weed store. Okay, so see you in a moment, my precious, precious, precious bucket of jewels. For the rest of you, you're also buckets of jewels, but still somewhat less precious to me.